Hey there YouTube, France Hopper here. It is Sunday, May the 17th, and we are going to drive to SakéOne, which is a sake brewery here in Oregon. I am in a ZipCar Prius. This will be interesting because this is the first time I've ever driven a Prius for like a real drive. And we also just had to stop to fill up with petrol because, of course, the last person that had this right up until my reservation did not fill the tank. And because of coronavirus, it's self-serve.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Southwest Clay Street.
So that was interesting because I've only ever actually had to fill a car with petrol exactly once. I'm much more used to plugging these things in to charge for electric. But it was pretty easy. Gas card worked just fine. It's very straightforward. You stick the card in, you select what grade you want, you pump the nozzle in your car, make sure it's actually locked in there, and you squeeze. And that's it. You wait for it to finish. So we do have a full tank of petrol now. This is the regular old Prius, so it's not a plug-in Prius. I don't know what the battery range is.
At the light, turn left onto Southwest Clay Street.
But basically, we're going to see how this all goes. Is that an Aston Martin or a Genesis Coupe? That is an Aston Martin. Wow! That was completely unscripted. I did not know someone was going to have an Aston Martin parked there. That's pretty brilliant. So the reason why I figured I'd take you guys along for this ride is because it is actually a very, very nice drive. Usually I would, take TriMet because TriMet just barely gets there. It's the second to last stop the Line 47 bus makes, so you take it basically to the TriMet district boundary, and then it's a bit of a walk to the brewery itself, but it's not bad. The one thing I dislike about the bus is it takes TV highway, and the view on that's pretty crap. The view if you actually drive and take the interstate is gorgeous. It's a lot of farmland. It's a very, very, very nice drive. So I figured I'd take you guys along. I hope this just goes right onto the interstate because I've actually never gotten on the freeway this way. 26 to Beaverton, perfect. Well, that's actually nice and easy. I like that. I'm surprised that the ramp is on. figure out where the heck it actually was, and you know, it's where I expected it to be. It's a pedal under my left foot. But yeah, that goes to tell you I've never driven one of these before other than in a test drive at the auto show, which I've done several times. But for an actual road trip like this, never done it. Bit of a bummer. It is nice to have CarPlay when available, but this doesn't have it. But I don't know if somebody left their own personal car phone holder in here, or if this is actually supposed to come with one as one of the what they call park pass cars for ZipCar, where basically they just got a state park permit that allows you free entry. But it is nice actually having a phone holder in the car to mount the phone into, and I'll probably have to give ZipCar a ring when I return it to see, hey, is this supposed to be in the car, or did somebody leave this? to the coast if you take it long enough. And it dies to 2 lanes, as you can see we're getting ready to do here. So you at least have a passing lane still. It's not as bad as some highways I've been on, but you know, if it weren't for coronavirus, it's actually been pretty decent weather. Today was supposed to rain all day. Looks like we got some rain coming in now, but this isn't too bad. Safety features in it, so I do like that. It does have a lane keep assist, it does have adaptive cruise control, although I'm keeping it manual because I generally just prefer manual, honestly. It does look like this window's been treated so that it would have automatic wipers if I figure out how in the heck to set up no automatic. Lights, however, are not automatic, but let's see, we do have blind spot detection, which is always greatly appreciated. And of course a backup camera, as now it's giving me a warning that because I'm driving too slow, it can't give me a lane departure warning anymore. Turn this off. I guess these are rain sensing indeed. Nice.
In 1.3 miles, turn right onto Northwest Zion Church Road.
Oh, I lied. This lane dies.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Northwest Zion Church Road.
So I hope the window on that side is clear enough to give you something of a view. But the first time I drove this in summer of last year, I was just blown away. Back when Reach Now was actually still around. Do miss them quite a bit. But spectacular, spectacular farm scenery.
At the light, turn right onto Northwest Zion Church Road. In 3.6 miles, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Northwest Vermont Road.
Now this is a road that I'm always very, very iffy on as far as driving goes, because Siri tells me the speed limit on this is 25 miles an hour. I will be honest, we're not going 25 miles an hour right now, not even close, and nobody else is. So yeah, if this is actually 25 miles an hour, I do sincerely apologize. I don't know what the speed limit on this road is supposed to be, because I have never seen anybody go 25 on this if it is actually 25. So I'm going with the flow of traffic as much as I'm willing to go, and there's no way this can be 25 if this curve is 50 and we're going 55. So minus point for Apple Maps there. Maybe this used to be 25 miles an hour and it just isn't anymore. backtrack a bit to where we started from the petrol station. I don't know what size tank this has. because this is a hybrid. It is the hybrid Prius, and it's not the plug-in Prius. But it only took like $7 of fuel, and I didn't print a receipt because ZipCar doesn't need one. I don't want one. So yeah, there's that.
In 1 mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Northwest Fort Road.
Normally I would have put my blinkers on for them, but I don't know where the hazards are on this. I actually don't see anywhere that looks like it would make sense. Which means possibly the phone's blocking it. Whoops. there.
Continue on to Southwest Highway 47.
Alrighty. So like I said, you can take TriMet down here. It's like the second to last stop on the 57. That actually would have been a 4000 series bus. That's one of the nice new ones. Observation that I've noticed with
In 1.3
ZipCar,
miles, turn left onto Elm Street.
and I don't know if it's just simply because of the cars that I've been reserving so far, none of them have an Oregon plate. In fact, this Prius has a California plate, and there's a Nissan Rogue closer to the apartment but more expensive, which is why I got this from
In 1
Portland
mile,
State instead.
turn left onto Elm Street.
That one, I believe, has a Washington plate. Welcome to SakéOne, Oregon's local brewery for sake. It looks like we are gonna head inside, so
arrived.
I'm gonna park and get some sake. Let's see, how am I on lines? That looks good. Park. Brake. And oh, there's the automatic lights button, or that might be for headlights. Or high beams. What did that say? Auto high beam. Okay, that's what that is. Cool. Alright, let's get some sake. Alright, so we have the sake. They just simply brought it to the car, which is nice and easy. 2 bags. Let's go home and let's get out of here. Which, I have to remember how much I can backtrack, because of course, there is no cell signal out here. That those are not going to shift around too much. I don't know how much I trust them. Guess I'm going to find out. Everything I want, but navigation. Or rather, I should say it's giving me everything but navigation. Driving directions to home.
Getting directions to home.
Let's see if that'll work. There we go.
Starting route to 3939 South Bond Avenue. Head north on Southwest Highway 47, then continue onto Quinn Street.
That's better. Always have to pull away from the brewery to get enough signal. How to backtrack just enough to get started.
Continue straight. In half a mile, turn right onto Northwest Martin Road.
you're right. I'll give you that one.
In 1 mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Northwest Fort Road.
But on one hand, you could kind of consider it grocery shopping / to go from a restaurant. Like, barely. Or to go from a brewery, which is actually a thing that you are allowed to do. Haven't checked recently, but some of the vineyards in the Willamette Valley were doing, of course, to go pick up from the vineyards. Otherwise, of course, everybody's happy to ship, but shipping sake or alcohol in general, for that matter, is not cheap. So I'm much happier paying, I think this worked out to like 30 bucks or so for the ZipCar after extending it.
At the roundabout, take the first exit onto Northwest Fort Road.
Rather than paying for shipping, which would have been a lot more. TriMet is only $2.50, so it is substantially cheaper than ZipCar and shipping, but
in half a mile at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Northwest Cornelius Shefflin Road.
because of coronavirus, TriMet's not entirely an option. I mean, they're still running, but passenger capacity on buses is capped, and I really didn't want to do a sake run on TriMet with those caps.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Northwest Cornelius Shefflin Road.
And while I do have a face mask already, starting Wednesday, I will be very interested in seeing how this goes, how they actually enforce it and whatnot. But starting Wednesday, face coverings are actually going to be mandatory on TriMet. And I think I was supposed to turn off there. No, I turn here. That throws me off every time.
1.6 miles. Turn left onto Northwest Glenbrook Road.
Because that entire road is just called Northwest Cornelius Shefflin Road. Look for the sign that says Portland. Makes it much easier.
1.2 miles. Turn right toward Portland.
So the first time I saw this coming off the freeway, I just went, wow.
In 1 mile, turn right toward Portland.
I do appreciate being able to live in a decent sized city and be able to escape from the city with relative ease and have views like this. So I'm quite happy with living in Portland. Philly was not bad, but definitely a much larger city, and you had to go quite a bit more out of the city area to get a view like this. Whereas Portland, nah, go 30 minutes by car or about an hour by TriMet and just take it all in.
At the light, use the right lane to turn toward Portland.
and navigation.
I'm on it. Okay, it's stopped now.
So I know they did close a park road. Whoa. Was not expecting the radio to kick in immediately after stopping navigation. Gee, thanks for that, Siri. So while everything in the park is closed, this does actually also kind of double as a road for access to the Arlington Heights area. And so I do believe that part is open. Trails and such are still open. You know, they do want you to keep distancing and everything from other people. The Line 63 is still running as far as I know as well, so you can actually still take TriMet into the park. And truth be told, I did do that the other day just to get a walk in, and that was actually pretty nice. There weren't many people on the trail at all, so it was actually pretty decent. Looks like there are quite a bit more people out and about in the park today, though. And sure enough, Kingston is closed, but this road to the residential district is open. And this, I think, is a nice little drive, and I've shown this drive before, notably in the all-electric day with Reach Now videos. Those, I think, are at least a year old now, probably a year and a half. But the GoPro will stay alive all the way to the apartment. Cool. If not, you know, thanks for watching and all that. This is pretty much going to be just a plain old trip down to Portland now. A lot of people at White Arboretum. In fact, so many people that they are writing tickets. Yes, you do still have to pay to park. They will ticket you. Although, over off to the side here, this is technically trail parking and sort of free parking. Some of these park jobs you're not supposed to do, but it is what it is.